this, but so let's talk about just kind of a couple things I want to talk about. One is a couple formations. So if we're riding 2x, so 2x is a good kind of group formation when you have a lot of the road to yourself, but it takes up a lot of road space. So you guys know that we ride in that formation a lot. I don't think it's super clear how that works, because sometimes we'll get in, like maybe after the turnaround on the group ride, usually it's 2x, and then you get somebody pulls off to the right, somebody stays there, somebody else pulls off to the right. So typically how a 2x formation works is these two are just riding up front. It's usually just kind of like an aerobic training. You wouldn't actually do this while you're racing. It's just more of a training environment kind of scenario. But the two up front, pull, and then when they decide that they want to get off the front, they'll both flick their inside elbow to indicate for these two riders to come through, and they'll gradually pull off and let up and let the others come in, and then they'll fill in the back. Okay? And it's just as easy as that. But what you don't want to do, if these guys are on the front, this guy signals with his right elbow, this guy signals with his right elbow, and they both go right. Well, these guys, that communication to them was go right. We're like, what are we doing? And it's just confusing. So here, if you both flick your left elbow and these guys are attentive, you should pull out and kind of keep the same pace, and then these guys are in the front, okay? And that's just generally how a 2x formation works. But as you can tell, especially when you're going 4 wide, you need to have pretty much the road to yourself. So you're not doing that on a busy road, okay? Make sense? When you're riding 2x and you need to tighten up the formation, say you're coming to a bridge or there's a car behind you, generally you just want to slide in as such and just kind of mix and mingle. And then when it's safe to go back to 2x, go back to 2x, okay? Any questions on that? Pretty straightforward, yeah? Okay. Now let's talk about Paceline. So race scenario, and we'll call it, even though it's a group of 6, we'll consider this a group of, we'll throw in the 7th one. So consider it a group of 7. You got 7 people who are all willing to work. That's a pretty good group, okay? And that honestly probably does not happen a lot, regardless of the group size. So how this is gonna work, so if this is the line moving forward, and this is the line that's drifting to the rear, what we're trying to do is minimize the amount of time your nose is in the wind, and when your nose is in the wind, you're helping the group move forward. So we don't wanna use your energy to cover gaps, to fill in slots. You know, we want everybody to kind of share the load equally. So, you know, typically you got this line moving forward and this line moving backwards. And so this line is intentionally drifting, this line stays the same speed, and that's critical, because if you get here, when this person pulls out of the way, if this person accelerates, what's just happened? Yep, so now this person is using energy to catch up, when this person is really having to get on the gas to catch up too. Now, these two guys are spent, this guy's working harder than need be, and this guy may even be left alone. So he just pulled really hard, he pulls off expecting some help to come through, and nobody's there to come through. Okay, so that's why it's critical. Now, what are some ways that we can do that? What are some ways we can make sure that you're pulling through smoothly when somebody else pulls off? So if you're this person, let's say you're this person. Okay, the group has kind of cleared you. They're falling back, so you're clear on wheels. This person is pulled off. Now what do you do here?
Keep going the same speed.
How do you know you're going the same speed? Because now your nose is in the wind versus not in the wind.
They're still drifting back at the same speed.
Yeah, but they may not be drifting back. What if they're kind of a douchey person and they're staying on the gas? Pull through. How many times we heard that, right? They're still hammering and they're telling you to pull through.
Maybe just tell them to hold steady, like to slow down so you can hold steady.
They need to slow down.
Like communicate that.
So when you're here in this position, if you're this person, find your gearing and your cadence with light, like we'll call it a zone 2 effort, right? Whatever that gearing and cadence is, so that when they pull off, you don't need to shift and ramp up, just hold the same gear and same cadence. And if you do that, you're going the same speed. It's probably just going to require a little more effort into the pedals. Okay. You can also, if you have speed on your computer, which I like for these reasons, you can kind of use it as a general gauge. Because even if you're speeding up or slowing down a mile per hour, that affects the group.
Yeah.
So you can use it as a general gauge. Okay, are we holding the same speed? And if this person is not backing off and maybe they're getting pissy with you, pull through. Hey, I want to pull through, but you're still riding really hard. If you want us to come through, you got to back off a little bit. Okay. And that's just that's the communication. Yeah, it happens all the time. But that simple communication of, hey, I want to work with you, but you got to let up a little bit if you want me to work with you. That solves the problem, right? Then they understand you want to work. They understand they're either being a douchebag or maybe they're just a lot stronger than you. You know, if I'm on Drew's wheel and he's holding the gas, I can't pull through on Drew, right? So I need him to back off if he wants me to pull through and help him. So that's kind of the dynamic. And that's it. When these are rotating smoothly, it's a beautiful thing and super fast. Rarely does it happen, right? So that's an indication of if you need to skip a pull. Let's talk about how to do that. So this person back here is not as strong as the rest of the group, okay? And they're suffering a little bit. So this line is moving up, this line is kind of drifting back. So at this point, if you're still staying in line, this person's gonna see you, they're gonna look back and come behind a little bit, right? Okay, so what you can do is leave a little bit of space and start to kind of, if nobody else is back here with you. If other people are back here, you can't be going side to side, that'll mess up the group. But if you have space to do it, what you can do is leave a little gap and then pull over a little bit so when they look back, they don't see anything. Or if they do see you, you say, yep, jump in. And then that way they know they're gonna drift right here and you just kind of follow them. So when this person comes back, same thing, kind of back and out a little bit, yep, jump in, and then you're here. And this group continues to rotate around, okay? Does that make sense? Okay, so that's something we can practice today if somebody feels like they wanna skip pulls. Now, let's say this person starts feeling better. They've skipped 3 or 4 pulls, everybody's pulling and they're back in the line. So this person drops back in, just hold your spot. Okay, now you're committed. You need to pull through with everybody else, okay? But that's a good way, if you can pull once in a while, but not every time, that's a good way to do it. Make sense? Okay. Now let's talk about small group dynamics. You got a group of 4. What's the primary thing that changes in a group of 4?
The time that you pull.
The duration that you pull, right? Okay, so think in terms of this. I mean, we see it all the time really, but you see a breakaway go down the road. You know, I'm thinking of there was a 3-person breakaway in an Asian World Cup last year, and they were really strong riders. They got a good gap, but they just kept constantly rotating, the 3 of them. So what are they doing? They're spending more time side by side than they are in a line. Okay, so think in terms of work to rest ratio. So if there's a group of 4, let's say you're doing a sprint distance race that's 30 minutes long, you got a group of 4, okay? You should only be pulling 25% of the time if everybody's committed to working, and we'll say equally as strong, right? Okay, so what that means is this person, if you pull and pull off, that's only 10 seconds, right? 10 or 15 at most, right? If you kind of do a quick pull and then pull off, and then you're drifting back and this person pulls 10 seconds. This person pulls 10 seconds. Oh crap, I'm already coming back through. So you can see you're gonna spend more time like this or like this than you are like this, okay? So think of work to rest ratio in terms of if you got a group of 4, I think probably 30-second pulls is a good time to pull, because what that means is this person's pulling 30 seconds, these people are getting 90 seconds of rest, right? Or maybe 60 seconds by the time you drift back. But so let's say Drew's on the front, he's pulling, everybody's with him, you're good. Now pull off, and what do you have to do here, Drew?
Drift back.
Ease up. Because if Drew stays on the gas, these guys aren't gonna be able to pull through, okay? So ease up, don't waste your time here. Don't sit here, what are you doing? Don't wait for this guy to pull over because he's taking a longer pull, right? So your job is to get back here, and then what happens when you're here, Nina? What do you need to do at this point when this group is moving forward? Teresa, what would you do?
Drink some water, maybe?
A little late for that.
Gotta pick
Yeah.
up speed.
Oh, just make sure you don't get like thrown off
Yeah,
the back.
Drew, say it louder.
Gotta pick up speed.
Yeah, increase your speed. This group's coming by. If you don't start accelerating by the time you get to here, they're gonna dump you. And you slot back in, you're here, you might be toast. You're done. Okay? So as you start to drift back, you're looking, and if this person's really nice, they'll say last, you know? And then, you know, reaccelerate. So by the time you just clear wheels, boom, you're right back in. Nice and smooth. No gaps whatsoever, okay? By then, this person is pulling a little bit longer probably, and then same thing, starting to drift back. Slot right back in, okay? The problem is, let's say this person accelerates, and then they pull off. Oh crap, there's nobody there. Okay, this person has to work extra hard, we just missed a pull. That cost you a few seconds maybe, right? Or this person's drifting back, oh, they didn't reaccelerate. Oh crap, they have to work extra hard when they're trying to recover. So then by the time they get back to the front, oh, I'm already spent, I'm smoked, I can't really pull that well. You're not helping the group, okay? Makes sense? So smaller groups, pull longer, okay? Bigger groups, larger groups, when you can just kind of flow through, that's beautiful, because when you have more people, once you pull off, you immediately have somebody protecting you. So this person has just pulled off the front, boom, you got drafting right away. And so you're not really worried about getting back in the line. So you can you still ease up and drift back, but that's kind of the gist of it, okay? So Teresa, to your point, a good time to take water, right there. Yeah. Here, you're trying to find your cadence and your gearing because you want to hold what this person is doing, so when they pull off and drop back, when they pull off and drop back, you know exactly how fast to go. It's gonna feel a little more muscular in your pedal stroke, but you're going the same speed. Okay, make sense?
It's 10 out of 2, just so you know.
Yeah, that's fine. Oh, let's take 2 more minutes. Last thing, crosswind. This is how an echelon is created. Let's say the wind is coming from this side. Okay, so the wind is blowing this way. Okay, how's that going to affect the group? What does that do to the drafting pocket?
You're gonna want to kind of stagger
Yep.
against
Because
the wind.
when you're moving forward and the wind is going this way, the pocket now is offset. So you will want to go here, this person will want to go here, this person will want to go here. Ooh, look at that.
In the gutter.
How much road do you have to work with, right? Okay, so this is your pocket. For our intents and purposes, in a race scenario, I would be very careful about overlapping wheels here, because a lot of times that's the better place to be, but it's also risky and dangerous, as you guys know. Especially in a crosswind if it's gusty. One small move, they take your front wheel out, you're toast, okay? So generally I'd recommend not overlapping wheels unless you really, really trust the wheel in front of you, okay? So that's how that changes. Now you always rotate into the wind. So the line moving up is the protected line. So this person will drift back and then get back in line. Now, what just happened if this person doesn't move over?
They don't get the draft.
You're toast.
Yeah.
Because you're basically in the wind by yourself. Maybe getting a little bit of help, but not much. Competitive assessment here, okay? If there's 3 of you who are working strong or maybe a run threat that you want to drop, put them in the gutter, okay? Leave just enough room for the people you want to work with. Or if you're all working well together, move over and leave room for everybody. So when this person comes through, you know you got to move over ever so slightly. Okay, so use the amount of road that you have. And on open roads, obviously be safe. Think about cars, okay? You don't want to be on an open road with cars doing this. But a closed road race scenario, that's where you think about, okay, where's the pocket, right? Where's the drafting pocket? Where do I need to be, okay? That was pretty quick, but any questions on that? Okay, so those are some of the dynamics we're gonna play with today, okay? I didn't look at the wind direction, but I don't really see much wind today. It's pretty calm. But that's something you would wanna think about before a race, because we know we got a long stretch going south when we're doing our Paceline work. Do we have a headwind, crosswind, tailwind? That affects, you know, the dynamics of the group, okay? Cool, any questions?